Hello and welcome to the One Take Series video on how to get your hands on some ERG in the United States. Since some of the larger CEXs have left the United States recently, crypto in general has gotten more difficult to obtain via your typical avenues. So for those of you that aren't aware, Ergo is a proof of work blockchain that secures their network by mining as opposed to something like Cardano, which utilizes staking. That means you can mine Ergo, get mining rewards. If you're interested in mining, I please suggest you check out our webpage right here up top and dig right in there. But for those of you that don't want to mine and you still want to get your hands on some Ergo, here's how to do it. So let's dive right in. The site that I typically use to get some sort of crypto via fiat, either my bank account or my check card, is Coinbase. And that should suit most of you in the US, unless some of your states have some restrictions. But let's go from there. So first thing we can do is, after creating an account, after verifying KYC, depending on what you're doing, and I'll show you this chart here just so you're aware, there are different levels of what you can do. You'll see level 1 is verifying by phone number, 2 is personal information, and 3 is a photo ID. And as you verify these different levels, you can at one time you get access to different amounts of withdrawals or purchases or that kind of thing. So just be aware before you go all in on level 1 and you say, oh my gosh, I can't even transfer half of what I've tried to purchase to another chain or out of Coinbase or that kind of thing. So just check the settings tab here, account levels, just to verify what state you're at that point, so there are no surprises. All right, back to Coinbase main page. So they make it pretty easy for you. After you've linked your credit card, well, not credit card, your check card or your PayPal or your bank wire transfer information, they give you a nice little buy and sell button up here. I am just going to obscure the screen real quickly so you can't see something. So first step we're going to do is hit buy and sell. So you'll see we have buy, sell, or convert. We're interested in going right now from fiat to some sort of crypto so that then we can later exchange that for ERGs. So depending on what we're going to do, and what I typically do is, if I'm going to use a non-KYC exchange such as like nonkyc.io or tradeogre or 7Cs, most of the time they have a BTC Bitcoin ERG pair or a USDT pair. Every time I use USDT, I feel a little yucky. So I typically stick to BTC, even though it's a little slower in that matter. But it's up to you. My suggestion is you go to those sites, like let's go to tradeogre, and you see what the markets are. Here's 7Cs for ERG USDT. Here is where are we? Here is non-KYC for ERG USDT as well, and I believe there might be a Bitcoin pair for that as well. So we're gonna show you this example today via tradeogre because they do have a BTC pair, and also honestly I transferred some things here to test anyway, so it's already there, and it's the one take video. We don't want to take two confirmations to send this and have you wait during the video or edit it. All right, so let's go back here. Here we go. So I've right from the top, we have an option to buy what coin. So I'm going to take you through Bitcoin first. I'm not actually going to follow through with the purchase, and then I'm going to take you through ADA as well. It's the same process, but depending on where I go and where I transfer this depends on what token or coin I'm going to use. So let's pretend we're buying some Bitcoin. You have the amount of Bitcoin you can buy in dollars. So we can say $100 worth of Bitcoin, and we can switch that to the actual BTC amount there. So I like to buy in dollar increments. That's what I see. That's what there's a lot of people see, I think. So we'll go to $100. We'll say one-time order right here, or you can do limit order or recurring buy. Limit order means that you can say, hey, I want $100 worth of Bitcoin, but I want it at this price because I know it might dip in a little bit, but I might not be around when it dips. So let me put in a limit order for that amount. So that's what that is. Or of course a recurring buy. So here we go, back at it. $100 of Bitcoin right here. Underneath that you can't see, that you'll see on your own screen, it shows you what account you want to get that from. So I am going to cover the screen a little bit more, and I am going to choose a different account to pay from, and I am going to uncover the screen. There we go. So next we can hit preview buy, and let me put a different cover on for that. And what you can see is we have under this white box up top, it shows you what account you're going to pay from. It shows you the price of Bitcoin right now per Bitcoin that's being covered up. Let's see, can I minimize that? Yeah. It shows you how much it's going to purchase for, what you're going to get. It shows you the Coinbase fee, which is unavoidable, and it shows you the total amount. And they want you to invest weekly as well. So all you have to do is hit buy now. If you have dual factor hooked up, it doesn't trigger that at this point typically. It only really triggers dual factor authentication when you're logging in for the first time and when you're trying to send funds, which we'll go through again. So let's actually go through this with ADA for a small amount. Here we go. So let me bring up this. Buy, sell. We're going to choose ADA. We're going to put in a dollar amount here. I am going to hide the top of the screen so I can pick the right account to come from. Unhide the top. Okay. One-time order, dollar amount here, shows you how much ADA that would be if we click that. Buying ADA, apologies for calling it ADA. And let me cover up the screen as well to hit the preview buy. And there we go. We're going from our account. Price you can't see is 0.38, so 38 cents per ADA in US dollars. Purchase price is here. Coinbase fee is here. And the total amount that's going to come out is right there. So I'm going to cover up just in case something else shows up, and I'm going to hit buy now. And it spins for a minute and shows that. And there we go. So your order was submitted. We'll send you an email when your order status updates, and it shows you your current ADA balance, which of course is 0 because it shows you that before it was actually executed. But you'll notice up here, my total balance has been adjusted, which is fantastic. So we hit done, we have that balance. So what you'll notice too is when you're purchasing from fiat to crypto in Coinbase, you'll notice there are a couple options. If you do a bank wire transfer, you have to wait several days for it. If you use your debit card, up to a certain amount, depending on these settings here, you can see here it is. So $7,500 a week for card purchases, which are debit cards, check cards. So those funds are available instantaneously. And I've made several mistakes in the past where I'm trying to time a market and I come in and I accidentally have it on wire transfer, and you're done. They're not going to cancel it for you. So you have to wait 3, 4, 5, 6 days, whenever the hell they feel like, releasing it, kind of thing. So just be careful. They like to default to the cheapest method, I believe, for them, which is bank wire transfer. If you want it instantly, you need to switch it to your debit card, if that's what you're looking to do. Okay, so moving on, we need to get this somewhere. So remember, we fake purchased Bitcoin, and we actually purchased some ADA to do this. Now I'm going to send my ADA through a swap site, which we'll do in this video, just because it's a little faster of transfer times than Bitcoin, and it's easier for me to show you kind of how it's done. Really, it's your preference. I ask you to test these swap sites to see what's going to get you the better price for swapping. Okay, so let's go. All we need to do is hit send and receive here. And it shows that we have ADA here. If we were going to do Bitcoin, it would show Bitcoin, but we don't have any Bitcoin, so we can't do that. I have a Nami wallet, so I'm going to grab my receive address from Nami right here. I'm going to go back to Coinbase. I'm going to choose max, because I want to send all my ADA, and it shows you how much ADA that is. And I'm going to send it to a recipient. And you'll notice it autofills. If it autofills, that's great. You can click it or hit enter or whatever. Just please verify that that is your correct address. Last thing you want is to send it to a malformed address or some bad address or somebody else's address that you accidentally paid, a week ago, kind of thing. So we're going to hit preview send. And it's going to say, okay, send this to this address. Double check your address again. I urge you to, please. There's a small network fee for Cardano. Send times less than 5 minutes, and that's the total amount in US dollars you're going to send. My head's in the way, isn't it? So I'm going to hit send now, and it's not going to go because I utilize my phone for dual factor, and my phone is also my camera, so I'm not about to rip my camera down off for me to do that, which is why I transferred this previous to the video. Okay, so once that goes through, your balance after maybe 2 minutes will go back to 0, and you should see that amount in your Nami wallet show up. And you can actually see your history in Nami wallet from there. You can scroll down and see where it's from, the transaction ID on the Explorer. Okay, same thing for BTC. So since we're using tradeogre for our BTC, we go into our account balances, or where are we going? We go to balances, I believe, and we look for BTC. We find it, and we see there's a deposit option there. We click deposit. We get our Bitcoin address. Now this is pretty much the same on any exchange, on any kind of off branch exchange, with 7Cs, with non-KYC that I showed you, and with tradeogre. So we copy this Bitcoin address. Same thing. We go back to Coinbase, send receive. We change this to Bitcoin. We do max, and we put in our Bitcoin address right there. And it actually sees, yeah, it still has that in the clipboard from ADA, my bad. And that's it. And then you send Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it took about, for the 2 transactions, let's see, where is it here? Deposit history. If you look, 2 out of 2 confirmations it requires, and that's tradeogre's policy of what it requires. 7Cs might be different, and non-KYC might be different as well. It's all based on what the exchange thinks that finality is the safest. And when I say finality, I mean that if we were to do one transaction confirmation for Bitcoin, and let's say something happened where there was some sort of orphan block, or there were 2 chains going at once because they were getting the exact same time of confirmation for creating a block, and then by the time the next block comes up, the other chain beats it, so that falls away. This is called finality, and this is tradeogre saying we trust in Bitcoin enough to where 2 confirmations, 2 blocks are enough to say that yes, the money really is there, the funds really are there. So you can see that it had a successful transfer earlier today at 11:56 a.m. And now let's trade it. We're going to dive right into tradeogre. We'll go to the AD exchanges later in this video, but let's go right to tradeogre. So I know this can be a little confusing. We are going to go right to markets up top. For somebody who hasn't used a site like this, it can be a little daunting about what's going on. So there are some tricks that I do that will help you out through here. So we see things are separated into markets. We have BTC market, we have USDT markets, and LTC markets. Now, since we sent Bitcoin, and we know there's a Bitcoin Ergo pair on tradeogre, that is precisely what we're going to use. So we search for Ergo right here. Remember, Ergo is the project, the blockchain, the token, the coin is called ERG. And we see there's an ERG BTC market, and there are some other stats for us as well. So we're going to click it. We're presented with this very confusing chart if you've never done this kind of thing before. We have market history, we have the depth of the market. We can see there's a bit of a buy wall here. We have the trades I've done, we have open orders that we can get to and see. So these are the important things we want to look at. Plus, actually, we can see the current price up here. It says it's $1.23 on tradeogre, which is less, I believe, than CoinGecko. Cool. So you see this arbitrage opportunities too, depending on where you can send these back and forth from. But unfortunately, with confirmation time, sometimes you miss that arbitrage opportunity because the exchanges will make you wait a certain amount of time. All right, let's go back here. Great. Refresh just to make sure we're on the latest. So we want to buy. So we have Bitcoin. You can see we have 0.0021676 is Bitcoin, and we want to swap that for ERGs. So what do? Nowhere on this price chart is US dollars, right? It's all in ERG or BTC, which can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. The only thing that's in price up here is the current price and the high and the low. So the thing I do at tradeogre to quickly be able to determine this is I have a tab open with the current Bitcoin conversion rate right there. And what I'll do is I'll say, okay, this chart on the right, the red, is where I want to buy. Okay? And it's kind of misleading because this is red, this is red, this is green, this is green. But that's not the way it works. So I can click on this top number, right? And if you look at the depth, we can see that this number right here is right here. This number right here is right here. And as we go down this chart, it goes this way. And as we go down this chart, it goes this way. So more expensive as we go down here, less expensive as we go down here. These, there's like always a gap in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to find that gap. So we click on this and we see that to buy this whole lot all at once, it's going to be this much Bitcoin. But let's say we want to get the actual price in US dollars. So we're going to say 1. And tradeogre is really good at this in that they change that BTC number for you. So they're saying using this pricing, well, it just dropped down. So let's click that over again. So, yeah, these are probably bots going back and forth of trading. So we hit 1 here. We'll just keep it on what it was. And we see the BTC price drops. We copy that. We go over to Google. And we see that $1.26, which as you can tell is 1 penny more than what the average of Ergo is across all these exchanges. So let's go back here. Let me close this window so it's not confusing. Now let's see what the spread here is. So we're going to click on the green and we can see it changes here. And we'll go to here. $1.22. So what this is showing is that there are many people who want to buy Ergo. 77 Ergo right now at $1.22 in ERG. And there's somebody wants to sell 72 Ergo, 72 ERGs at $1.26. So what can we do as a trader here? We can do a couple things. We can say, you know what? I know that I only have enough funds right now for 70 Ergo. And being on an exchange right now that doesn't require KYC, that's enough of a incentive to pay that extra 1 cent tax that is above the current price of Ergo. So I'm just going to click this and I'm just going to hit buy. Done. So that order, unless somebody else is there, that order should immediately fill and you'll get your ERGs and swapping for BTC. Now, if you say to yourself, I don't want to pay $1.26. I see that the spread is $1.22 for the people trying to buy it and $1.26 for people trying to sell it. I think I can coax these either bots or people down a little lower. So I'm going to put up a buy order for $1.24. Okay? And how do you determine that right now? Well, that's somewhat easy. We go over here back to Google and we say, what's $1.24 in Bitcoin? And it shows us that it's that much. So then we can go back to here. We can say, okay, I want 50 ERG at this price. And it shows you that that price is $0.0017034 Bitcoin, which, let's see what that is. That's $62, which, as you can see, we do have that in Bitcoin. We have definitely that. So what we can do is I'll show you what will happen. Should we go down further? Let's go down further. So 122, 126. Let's do 120. Did I do 124? I think I did. Yes, I did. So we're going to do, essentially, we're putting an order out there for 124 to see if somebody's going to take it for 50 ERGs. We're going to hit buy. And there we go. Immediately you see that my buy order went right here. It is not being filled yet. And it's just sitting there. So we can go to my orders and we can see that the buy order is sitting there waiting to be filled. It's waiting for somebody here in the sell side to be like, okay, I'll do it, and drop their price down, or else the bot having a range of acceptance where the bot says, yeah, okay, we'll drop it down and go from there. So in the meantime, we can actually buy some right on what the current price is. So I can show you that. So let's click this. Let's see how much we have left. We have available BTC. That is $16.97. So whatever we buy has to be that or below when we trade this. So let's go back here. Let's click this. and we'll click. So we essentially clicked yes, we agree to this price, whatever this is, and it's gonna be, there's only 3 here, so we're gonna have to click on a little bit of a higher price. So we'll click on that price with 13. We'll click all the Bitcoin we have left, and all the Bitcoin we have left will buy us 13.3 at this price essentially, if it's available. So watch this. I'm gonna hit buy. Order failed. Let's try again. Okay, we just did it. We have no Bitcoin. You can see that in my orders there is nothing there because it was instantaneous, because it was filled. And you see that this changed right here. So essentially what we did is we said, look, I agree to the second price in line, which is a little higher than the first price in line, because the first price in line is only selling 3.5 ergs. The second price in line was selling 13 ergs. So I can essentially, by putting in a price that's second highest, I can take all 3.5 of those ergs and the and about 10 ergs after that to get my ergs. So let's see where we are here. Let's go to our account balances. We should have 13 ergs, and we still have our Bitcoin sitting in there in that order. So what we can do is we can just cancel that, or we can leave it and come back at some point, just like fishing, see if somebody bid it, the price fluctuates or not. Whatever you want to do that. When you're done with all your ordering, please, 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 please remove your funds from an exchange and put them in a self-custodial wallet, your own wallet, something that you control the keys for. As Joe Armenio always says, not your keys, not your crypto, please. So how you do that is, if you're in your browser, I use Nautilus Wallet. If you're on your phone and only have access to a phone, there's Terminus Wallet for iOS or Ergo Mobile Wallet for Android. Same wallet, just different name on 2 platforms. Those are fantastic. There's SafeW Wallet. There's a Ergo Full Node Wallet. There are several choices of wallets in the Ergo ecosystem. Every single one of them is fantastic. I use all of them. But since we're in the video, we're in Chrome. Nautilus Wallet is a very good wallet for that. So what I do then, when I want to get off this, I go to my account, I go to balances again, I see Ergo, and I hit withdraw. It says withdraw amount, and we should be able to just click the balance for the full balance. The fee is 0.1 ergs, not bad. Lots of some CXs. I think Qcoin sometimes charged 1 erg or something. I can't remember. We're going to click on Nautilus. We're going to click on the Receive tab in Nautilus, just like we did with Nami. We're going to copy our address. We're going to paste it in there. We're going to double check. Always double check, please. Yep, good, great. And we hit withdraw. It might ask me for KYC, so I'm not going to do this in front of you again. But that's it. In about 2 minutes, it should come from tradeogre to your Nautilus wallet or whatever wallet you choose, and you'll have full control of your ergs. Great. So that's how we use, and it works similarly to 7Cs, similarly to non-KYC as well. They're all very similar platforms and how those spreads work and how those market buys or the market sells or the limit buys and limit sells work. Okay? So essentially what we did here, just as a reminder, that's a limit buy, what you see on the screen. We are saying we want to buy this at this price. Market buy is what we did the second time, where we just said, yeah, screw it. We're just going to buy it for that price above what the base price for selling is, to make sure that we get everything. That's essentially a market buy right there. Okay, so next step, for those of you that don't want to use this kind of thing or find it a little daunting, there are several other options, okay? And that's why we got Cardano in our wallet, ADA in our wallet, to show you how to do that. So there are sites, StealthX, SimpleSwap, Changelly, and ChangeNow. They really kind of have a formula, as you can tell by swapping between the sites. And how these work is they use backend APIs and access to these central exchanges. So a lot of the times, if I use SimpleSwap, and I say I want to go from ADA, and be careful to get the right ADA. You want Cardano ADA, not on the Binance network. Nope. Make sure you get the real ADA. And then we type in ERG here, and it's going to give you a minimum amount. Okay. But the way this works is, when I've used this in the past, and a lot of people that use it now, they'll notice that you'll get your deposits from KuCoin, essentially. So these swap sites will be using exchanges that they have access to make these swaps for you, charge a little bit on top, and that's a benefit of you not having to use a CEX, central exchange, or one of these smaller central exchanges. You can just go right through the swap site, put in where what you want, put in where to put it, and then send it. So I'm going to walk you through this with ADA. And again, I chose ADA because it was faster in the back end to get here for the video. And I did some calculations before, and it wasn't too expensive to do the swap. So with these, you kind of got to pay attention, and I'll show you how to do that as well. We're going to use Simple Swap for this example, but again, StealthX is there, Simple Swap, Changelly, and Change Now. Any of them. I don't even know if they're owned by the same people. Who knows? Doesn't matter. They're here. They have a reputation to uphold, and that's how they survive, essentially. Okay, so what I do with these sites is I'll go here, and I'll say, okay, I have 263 ADA in my wallet right now, okay? So with the fees that are taken out and with the slippage here, I won't ever tell Simple Swap or Changelly or Stealth Swap that I want to swap it all. I'll cut off maybe about 5% or 3%. So with this, I'll say 258 on exchange. Okay, we'll wait a second for it to spin. And that says it's going to give us about 74 ERG. Okay, and again, I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but they're not putting a dollar amount here. It'd be nice if they put a dollar amount on the side, or sometimes actually I've seen it float under here, I guess on different sites, but it's not very handy. Okay, so we have over in Ergo, the community builds things pretty neatly. This is ERG has a cool price checker as well, but we're just going to use this tool that I wrote in a channel called Ergo Port, and we're going to see exactly what we're doing here. So I'm going to say, I'm going to run a command that says EP ADA 250. And what it tells me is it says 250 ADA is $94, and that is about 74.8 ERGs. And if you look at what you send and what you get, that's pretty good, okay? But it's, of course, too good to be true because you are using a floating rate. If you hover your mouse over here, you'll see that the amount you get may change due to market volatility. And yes, it certainly does change. I never get what is stated there. So you can do something called a fixed exchange rate. And depending on the site, it won't let you do ERG for some reason. So if I click fixed rate, yeah, there you go. So it doesn't even appear in the list anymore. Yeah, apparently they must have some threshold of movement or something of their access that they only guarantee a fixed rate of exchange based on, you know, what they rank as what. Who knows? I don't know. I'm speculating. All right, so here we go. We have 250 ADA. We're going to get 74 ADA, Ergo, ERG, and we've done our little conversion, and we know that 250 ADA actually is 74.8 ERGs, which is pretty good swap. So we're going to hit exchange. And here's also where the number can change. Sometimes that number changes a bit right there on the spot. And also what I like to do too while I'm waiting is I go here and I type in ADA. And I type in Ergo. And I do 250 here. And we see what they're going to give us here. See, a little less, but I can hit start exchange and let's see if it stays. It stays. All right. I mean, so you can shop around right in this stage with all these sites and see what the best is going to get here. And then also from your experience, you know how much somebody's telling the truth and how much somebody's going to drop it, you know, with their fixed or their varying rate here. So we're going to go with here. It's super easy. So we have 250 ADA and see they finally put the price here on the second window. We have this many ergs we're going to get. We are going to go back into Nautilus. We are going to choose our wallet for ERG, and it says enter the wallet address. And remember, you make sure you put in the right address. You're not doing your ADA address, you're doing your ERG address because that's where it's going to. So we paste in our ERG address. We create an exchange, and again, this is where the number can change as well, because they're constantly polling the charts to see what's going to happen. Okay, so well, it's sticking around. So here we go. Awaiting a deposit. Send 250 ADA to this address. You get this to this address. Make sure you read this. Double check, please. There's nobody babysitting you. There's no FDIC. There's nothing like that holding your hand in case you screw up. Okay, it's very important that you're diligent with your own funds, your own custody. We're big kids here. Let's do this. So we go to the deposit address. We copy this right here, this button. We look at 1QY key 6VU. We go over here. We hit send. We paste that in. And it's good. I hover my mouse, slide it to make sure that it matches up. Again, you can never be too careful. We put in our 250 ADA. We're not putting any more assets into it. All right, we don't need to send it an NFT or anything like that. They're not requiring an optional message. Some exchanges, depending on what you use, like XLM or other tokens, coins may require messages to help them figure out that that's you who is sending it. This doesn't. ADA doesn't. Neither does ERG. We'll hit send. Transaction submitted. That's it. You can save this address right here. You can leave this page up, and this page will notify you as things are going on, from pending, confirming, exchanging, sending. Super hint. There we go. See, it knows that we sent it. It's pending the deposit, which is waiting for confirmation on the Cardano blockchain. There we go, confirming, and then it will do its thing in the background where it probably swaps ADA for something else, and then probably BTC or USDT, and then swaps it for ERG, and then sends us the ERG, and it does that all in the background. If you have any issues with these kind of sites, there's always a chat little button down in the right there that you can click on that will give you more info. You can chat directly with somebody, and I've had it happen before, and I think in, what was it, Change Now, I had a TX stuck for a good 24 hours. And while it does piss you off quite a bit that you miss whatever you're trying to do, so far they've helped me, and they've escalated it, and they've pushed it through, and I've gotten it. I haven't been burnt on any of these yet that I've shown above here. And there we go. It's giving you more information down there. Great. Let's see. I think that's it. All of them should come into your ERG wallet, whether you sent it from the withdrawal here, or you sent it through SimpleSwap. All of that will come into your ERG wallet. That's it. If you have any questions, please hop into chats. At the bottom of this webpage, you'll see the Telegram, Discord, and all those chats. We're usually always around to answer questions. The community is very, very helpful and active in Ergo, and always happy to help you out when you get stuck. Great. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.